what exactly is Fasset doing?
So in terms of why we exist is because of the deep belief that the right to build wealth should be universal.
Is it a project for the underprivileged, or is it a project for the underprivileged countries?
I hate to frame it like that. So I think it's the opposite. I think crypto is not exclusive of any country. Like you can just set up a wallet, you can onboard with peer-to-peer merchants, and you can go even without KYC and hold all your money there.
Hello everyone, Sudeep this side from TOKEN2049 Asia Edition reporting live. And joined with me is Jose from Fasset. Jose, how are you?
Good. Pleasure to be here with you.
And how is the vibe with the event?
Fantastic. It's my first time coming to TOKEN2049. It's way bigger than everything else that I've seen in terms of...
I must say this is the 5th edition that I'm attending. I've attended last 3 Singapore editions, 2 Dubai editions, and this actually is the biggest of all that has happened. So coming back to point, what exactly is Fasset doing? I mean, I'll tell you what perspective I'm coming from. The simple thing is that every project is built with a philosophy. Every project comes after a certain thought, a mindset as to why the project is built. What problem is the project solving? So just would like to understand, how do you come to this project and where is this project coming from?
So in terms of why we exist is because of the deep belief that the right to build wealth should be universal. So when you look at different countries, you're going to see a difference in terms of what kind of financial products and services can they access and which ones they can't. And when you look at most of the Western countries, there's these services that you take for granted: banking, the fees, the optionality that you have, investment products from stocks, bonds, funds, all the way to crypto. And then you look at some countries in the rest of the world where you don't have access to global stocks, global products, and some places bank accounts, or where you have bank accounts, you have limited yields or opportunities or things that you can do with your money. There's low sovereignty as well, so you can get blocked anytime. You have high counterparty risk in some countries also. So that's the why. And what we've done with that is that we have built a banking and investment platform that runs completely on blockchain. And what that does is that it enables us to bring the cost of service or banking very low. And that means that we can serve the countries where traditional financial institutions didn't go because of that reason.
So does that provide some kind of option to the countries where the currency is crumbling, there's hyperinflation?
Yeah.
So does this provide some kind of security against that as well?
Yeah, and that's a valuable position of stable coins as a whole. In different countries, you will have a restriction on how much US dollar you can buy. I'll give you an example. Argentina had a restriction of up to $2,000 max. Sorry, up to $100. And the new president, they raised it up to 2,000, but still you're limited. That's the maximum that you could cash out of your peso, and else you're exposed to the currency decline. And that's what creates a gray black market for US dollar. So when you look at different currencies that depreciate 20 to 30%, if you go and swap for US dollar, then you avoid that loss. And then if you're earning yield on that dollar, then your net difference is going to be the 20%. You don't lose plus whatever you can earn on bonds. Let's say it's 4 to 5%, which with zero risk. So that the margin is very big. And there's a huge market of users that just want to hold their savings in US dollars. And we see that because we can look at the data of the trading behavior, investing behavior of our users. And there's a percentage that buy stocks, that buy crypto. There's a great majority that they just unwrap, they switch their local currency to stablecoin, and then they put their stablecoin in a savings product earning 5%. So we can see that behavior in these countries. That's very clear in terms of what they want.
So a tricky question.
Yeah.
Is it a project for the underprivileged, or is it a project for the underprivileged countries?
I hate to frame it like that. Because ultimately, you're getting a lot of...
I mean, I'm talking about privilege in terms of holding the crypto assets. I mean, not everybody has the access to it, right? There are countries in which there are very stringent regulations. There are countries which don't even bother what is happening. So when we talk about these things, the crypto holdings are limited to the elite few. So is it for the people who don't belong to the elite class and they want to build a portfolio in crypto, want to hedge against the currency fluctuations, or is it for specific geographies, for countries in which presidents are not exposed to the hedging of crypto assets? I mean, where would you like to place this product more? I'm not saying just place it perfectly, place it more towards that side.
So I think it's the opposite. I think crypto is not exclusive of any country. Like you can just set up a wallet, you can onboard with peer-to-peer merchants, and you can go even without KYC and hold all your money there. It's not the safest way, and it's not the way that's going to get mainstream adoption. I think the assets that have been restricted to some countries are more the traditional financial assets, like US stocks, for example, which have been the best performing asset class over the last 20 years, except for crypto. But in most countries, you don't have applications like Revolut, you don't have interactive brokers. And if you have, then because they're the only ones, and they would charge exorbitant fees of 3 to 5% per transaction, but because there's no other options, then users just either go with it, have to follow that. Or what my thesis is that because of that exploitation, there just hasn't been a product market fit on the traditional technology in these markets.
Right. So apart from providing an ecosystem to such places, the class that you are targeting, what all products do you have in mind in times to come that you would like to build? I mean, what is the horizon for Fasset?
So right now what we have is stocks, bonds, funds, metals. We have crypto. We have a global debit card, which is fully an on-chain product. And the benefit of the card is that previously what you had is that you have a banking account where you receive your salary, you spend, and you have an investment account, and you have to sell here, send here to the bank, and vice versa to fund it. When you combine those into one global card that functions with crypto on the back, what that means is that you can spend your crypto balance, and it could be your Bitcoin, it could be your gold, it could be your stocks. And what happens is that at the point of sale, it sells, say, gold into your $5 coffee, and you're only spending what you need. So that means that you can stay invested without having to switch to your local currency and then go buy whatever you need. And so we have the investment products, we have the card, and we have virtual IBANs. The virtual IBANs are USD accounts, which is a fantastic product because it means that anyone from almost anywhere in the world, they can receive USD with a bank account the same way that you would if you were using TransferWise in Europe or you were using Revolut in Europe.
Anything built on RWAs?
Everything is RWAs. So every stock that you buy is a tokenized real-world asset. We have a partner that's called Dinari. What Dinari does is that they acquire the stocks from the US Stock Exchange, the New York Stock Exchange. They hold them in custody, they're SEC-regulated. They mint the token that represents it one-to-one. They sell it to us, and then we sell it to our users. The thing is, what we've done is that we've abstracted all of the technicality that I've just explained, and we're just saying, buy Apple, buy S&P 500, buy NVIDIA. And today, the asset that we sell the most is actually NVIDIA stock. NVIDIA stock. And behind
NVIDIA is the biggest pick right now.
It's the most culturally relevant stock in terms of our retail market. But the point of that is that you could find product market fit with this technology that makes it accessible without explaining that all of this is tokenized and you have the SEC regulating and the one-to-one.
Right. So if we talk about the strategic horizon in terms of RWA already present, bringing in a little perspective about the industry, it has been maturing over the time. More real-life use case projects, more real-life use case scenarios are developing. Industry is going into saturation, right? Good projects coming up.
Yeah.
The visiting card VCs are going away, structured VCs are coming into picture. So how do you see the industry, let us say, from the perspective of a visionary, 3 years down the line? Where do you see the Web3 industry going? What kind of projects will be coming more? What kind of shops will be set up? I mean, the bull runs and rug pulls are gone. Everybody know that there's going to be a rug pull. So there's no surprise anymore now.
I think that what's happening is that the line between crypto and finance is disappearing. It's just becoming one thing called finance.
Very true. Right.
So before you had like the institutions on one side, and you have DeFi extremists, no KYC, only crypto assets. And now you have every single institution and bank launching their own chains, launching stablecoins. So the line is just merging. So right now, calling it crypto industry, I would just call it finance, and then the technology, which I think that's what it's
finance backed by blockchain
all the time. What that means is that regulation is the most important thing, because once you have all of these regulated products, players, they're looking for regulated products and accessing users in these environments. So I think that the companies that do things the proper way, which is the most time consuming, it's the most expensive, it's the most difficult to maintain, are going to be the ones that survive. And I'll give you an example specific to real world assets. There's a lot of companies that have been tokenizing, and there's different ways to tokenize. You can use different legal structures to tokenize an asset. You can sell your tokenized assets through gray areas and unregulated ways, but you're not going to have a big institution come and tell you, here, tokenize my sovereign funds in your, that's just not going to happen. The same way users are not going to trust it because they are saying, okay, I'm buying this from let's call it a platform that's from the VVI. The token is issued from another offshore entity, and then there's nothing that protects you from the company just disappearing or there not being anything backing the asset. So I think the user trust has just become a lot more important than 2021, where people were a bit more naive or speculative because you hadn't seen 3 years of block pools and companies shutting down. So I think it's those two sides. It's trust with the user that they're going to look for these type of platforms. You're going to see for on and off ramps, and then you're going to have institutions. And institutions are going to choose those players. If you have two options and you need to tokenize a piece of real estate, one company will structure it all offshore and you have counterparty risk, and the other one saying, we work with the government, we're issuing from Dubai, and this is verified by the Emirates regulatory border. They're going to choose this one all the time.
Exactly.
It takes a lot of time. We're already working to get this license for the onshore issuance. But what that means is that there's going to be a big wave of players that we're waiting to see regulation a little bit more clear on top of RWAs. And then they're going to be, okay, let's experiment with what we can do with tokenization. Can we actually unlock liquidity? How can we sell this to users? But I think that's the first step. And it's going to clean out a lot of the players, because what's going to happen is that you're going to have a lot of RWA projects that are going to be stuck even with the inventory, right? Because they can get, okay, well, I tokenize it, but I cannot sell it. Yeah, I think all of that is going to clean up, and there might be there definitely will be a repricing of the valuations of a lot of these companies once it comes from, okay, we're announcing $1 billion of tokenized assets versus we're announcing $1 billion of tokenized asset sales. Like, that's going to reprice the whole market.
So that brings me to the next point. How secure is your platform in terms of regulation?
Yeah.
And in terms of the hacking security, both the things?
Yeah, in terms of regulation, we're fully regulated by VARA. So by VARA. So out of Dubai, we have all the licenses, and we've just gotten our banking license in Malaysia as well. So that means that it's a license to sell tokenized securities direct to users. And that means that there's a weekly checks from them, and keeping up the compliance, we need to have a certain amount of capital just in research for that. And what that allows us to do is that with the license, you can do a lot of marketing and promotion of these assets and in the right way. And that makes a lot of our go-to-market a lot more efficient in terms of the user acquisition, the paid ads that we can do, the campaigns that we could do, how we leverage social media, because we don't need to operate in a gray market where users would have to on-ramp to a different platform, then send to this app and then buy. They can go straight from the local currency. They swap from, let's say it's your rupiah, to your stablecoin, buy stock. You can go to DeFi if you want, or you can go back to your local currency whenever you want. You can spend it. So having the licenses, and it's not just one license, but there's a combination of licenses that enables you to fuse the banking products with the investment products in one compliant and cohesive way. Like the user experience also improves because of that.
Sweet. What's the user base that you're serving right now?
Sorry?
What's the user base that you're serving right now?
Our main markets are the UAE, Pakistan, and Indonesia. That's where most of our user base is.
Has any plans to expand beyond this?
Yes, we're rolling out, especially with the card and with the virtual events. We're going Nigeria, Bangladesh, Morocco, or some of the countries where we're expanding more.
Okay, and in the European side or the United States side, not right now?
No, I think that it's a different proposition, and you compete, like you were saying, like the saturation is not just in Web3 solutions. It's you're competing against a lot of traditional products that might work just as well, like Revolut, for example, in Europe. So for the majority of users, Revolut is an amazing option in Europe. So we're not trying to go where these are just dominated. We're trying to go where the other ones haven't gone. And the advantage there is the license.
So just asking you something out of context.
Yeah.
When can we see a full-fledged crypto bank operating in different crypto assets? Not an exchange.
Yeah.
A bank operating crypto as a currency. Just something out of perspective.
It already exists. I mean, there's plenty. There's us. There's Plasma One. There's Cast. There's a lot of.
But they still are using the fiats.
you need a connection to the real world.
Yeah.
Like you still need.
I mean, they're using fiat, they're using stable coins, more of it. I'm just talking about asset to asset exchange and things like that. I mean, a fully functional crypto bank where you can not go for a DeFi system to hold an asset. You can do investment, you can do lending, everything, every function, maybe factoring, maybe high C sale operating through the bank, something. I mean, all the banking functions. When can we see? And but time horizon.
And yeah, the thing is, all of the banking functions on chain, it's a long time horizon. Like if you're talking about mortgages with real world
I think
assets.
all the other industries have to be institutionalized before we can actually bring in a bank like this.
Yeah, I think that if you look at cards and accounts, that's already there. And what you have is cards that are tied to your smart contract wallet, for example, virtualized and tied to your wallet address. And there's plenty of players there. But I think that what's limiting there is the on-ramps. So you cannot operate only on chain because you need that connection to the real world. So if you think about remittances, you could do the stablecoin to stablecoin transaction and you can set up for like a cent, but you would still need the real life connection with the user that Western Union has, the stores, like hundreds of stores in each of the countries. So that has to merge.
So mass adoption is the key to like bringing up more projects and more stability into the industry, right?
Yeah, it's a slow transition of users, but we're also seeing a generational shift on what they want, more openness to try new technology. So it's just a matter of time. And but I think that there's very exciting parts. I think in the borrowing lending side, we have lending against Bitcoin and against gold. So let's say you have your gold investment and there's something you want to buy, but your salary comes 5 days later, then I can borrow against my gold 50%. I use it for what I want, get my salary, pay this back. And that micro loan is something that's very, very useful.
Yeah.
Of course, you need to go to the point where, okay, you have your real estate property, you have a house and you want to borrow against it using, that is more complicated and you need a huge data infrastructure. But at least we start with Bitcoin, gold, maybe other metals.
I mean, this industry will mature. It will saturate over a period of time. But, definitely the change is coming with projects like yours, with other projects I've been seeing. The change is definitely coming. And this actually is bringing the industry to a place where we can say the solution or the answer to a fiat can be a crypto. So it is. That is a far-fetched thought, but I think this could be one of the things that we should be aiming at as a community. Because, once you get into the zone where you want to have solution to everything out there in crypto, not just payments, yeah, that is when the industry matures, and that is when you can provide a real-life solution to the fiat currency balance. Because fiat currency is always operated, managed, and dominated by the governments, the ecosystem, especially the closed economies like China. So they decide the price against their dollar. India opened up after liberalization, but China hasn't still opened up about their currency and things. So maybe crypto can bring that change in the times to come, and we can become like one big global community as citizens of the world. That is what things can be. So guys, this was Jose from the project he's representing. He's saying that a lot of things there are interesting and things are about to change, and we can definitely see the changes happening at Token2049. In the times to come, we can bring in some more interesting perspective about the projects that are represented at Token. And Jose has brought in some real good intellect and intelligence about the crypto ecosystem to the table. And with this, we say thanks to Jose, and we'll keep bringing you more interesting stuff in the times to come from Token2049. Till then, this is Sudeep saying goodbye, and we'll keep bringing you more interesting stuff. Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye.